Hey guys, what's up? My name is Godwin Mutai, and this is the lovely lady herself, Madam Boss, the queen of my heart, the one who conquered me, the one who has colonized this heart
I'm a
and
colonizer
set,
now.
and set it free. What's your name?
I am colonizer Noel Mutai.
Colonel.
Oh, colonizer
Yeah.
Noel Mutai.
This is my wife of two years,
Beautiful years.
2 beautiful years.
Fine, yes.
And between the two of us, we have one beautiful baby girl. Her name is Talia. So excited about we are new parents. So today she's the one, when the boss is there, you just have to hats off and just be quiet. So take it away.
Wow, such an introduction. So today's conversation really will be revolving around faith, and what it means to you as a person and you as a believer. And so, just to start off the conversation, I want to find out what your journey of faith has looked like. Yeah.
Okay, so my journey of faith. So it started, I think, of course, I was born in a Christian family. I went to a relatively Christian school or Christian believing schools. But I think when the journey actually intentionally began is when I was in Form 2. That's when during those CU runs, someone preached, I listened and I obeyed and I accepted to accept Jesus in my life. And I think that's where the intentionality began. At that age, of course, I didn't know what it means to be born again. I didn't know what is required of me as a young man. So I went through high school. I was in CU, and then I went into university a few years later, and I met this awesome group of people called Jazz. Jazz stands for Jesus is my A to Z or A to Z. And that's where I met this beautiful woman. And I think that's where the real intentionality in the relationship between me and God became so apparent. That's where I had people that could keep me accountable. I had people that could ask me tough questions. I had people that could actually encourage me to be more and more like Jesus. So I think that's, and then of course now after high school, after campus, getting into the marketplace, that community part of having a community of believers around you is what has kept me in this journey of faith.
I like the fact that you call it a journey, and for any journey that definitely seasons that you go through, seasons of abundance, seasons of depleted resources. And so I want to find out what has been your highlight in this whole journey of faith.
All right, my highlight in this journey of faith, I would say the first, I think I have two. The first one was the realization, when I got into the community of faith, it was also for, I'm getting born again, it's the right thing to do, it's what I've been told to do. But then I think what was the turning point was the point where I realized that, grace, the whole concept of grace, where I realized that Jesus died for our sins, and there is no big or small sin that he can't forgive, or there's no big or small sin that he can't wash away by his blood. So understanding the concept of grace, where I knew without me doing anything, someone has already done everything for me. Yes, just by me being me and accepting him, someone has already paid the cost for me. So that was my greatest highlight, because it actually liberated me from works. That I have to do ABCD to earn his grace, I have to do ABCD to earn his love. That was the biggest turnaround for me in my faith. But the second one, of course, was now when I was in a leadership position in first of all in campus and then post-campus.
Okay.
Being in a leadership space, leading people in understanding more about God, in being more like Jesus, being in a space where you are able to actually disciple other people. I think that was my highlight as well, because it gives you purpose when you know that someone, on a daily basis, someone is becoming more and more like Jesus.
Yeah.
Those two.
That's really amazing. And would you say that at the beginning, when you actually said yes to this walk of faith, how far in did you get to realize about this stance of grace?
How far in
did you get to the realization that it's all about grace?
Oh man, I mean, almost 19 years of my life. All my life, as I said, I was in a Christian home. I was doing Christian things. I was going to church faithfully. I was part of Christian groups. But I think, all this time I was serving, or I was part of the community of believers with a wrong perception that I need to do something to be better. I need to do something to please God. It could be serving God better. I need to join the choir, join this other team, so that cumulatively I can quote unquote be a good person. Cumulatively, I can quote unquote be pleasing to God. When God sees me, he's like, hey, that's actually my son, based on the works.
Yeah.
But then it hit me that, this is just, it's futile. No man can save themselves.
Yeah.
No man can save himself. And that's when I realized, even without me doing anything, I've already been saved by virtue of me accepting Jesus, by virtue of me confessing that he is Lord. And that was the deal breaker for me. So it was like 19 years of trying, and then it was all futile because it was all empty. You'd still feel I need to do more. It's like you're trying to fill a gap, but I need to fill this gap all the more. The gap was not being filled.
That's quite an amazing thing, and I believe that most people actually go through the same struggles in life. So now that you came to the realization of this walk of faith being all about grace, is there a point in time in your relationship with God where you struggled to respond to him despite you having been in this relationship for a while?
Yes. Let me share two, but the first one will be very brief. There's a time actually God gave me a word. I'm not those creepy people that God spoke to me. God came to me and stuff. But there's a time I actually felt in my heart God telling me, you need to give this money. You need to give me this money. Surrender this money. And it's all the money that I had. Back then you were not married, so don't worry. It's all the money I had, and I had bills to pay. And he actually impressed in my heart that you need to sacrifice this money for me. And I was like most people, give me a sign. Give me a sign. In fact, I told him I was walking down the road heading to my house, and then there were street lights on the road. And then I told him, I need you to make the street lights flicker. Then I'll know you've spoken. They did not flicker. Nothing. So, but it kept bugging me. It kept bugging me to a point where I was like, let me just do this so that I have peace. And I came to understand that was actually God. I didn't need a sign. It was God, because later on now I kept, he kept blessing me. I didn't lack.
Had you paid your bills?
I had not paid my bills. I had not paid my rent. But a week later I was able to pay my rent by virtue of God blessing me after that. That's a story for another day. But my biggest struggle now in my adult life was when I was called to join full-time ministry. Growing up with my perception with being a pastor, I was like, no, I don't want to be a pastor, number one. Just the perception that pastors are, no offense, my fellow pastors, but just the perception that pastors are out there to please people. People just have a bad bad image and perception when it comes to pastors. So I didn't want that, number one. Then number two, my struggle with the fact that going for full-time ministry would mean 1 year of leadership development or training that is called Discovery. It's Mavuno's leadership development program. 1 year without pay, and I had a job that was paying my bill. So sacrificing everything for 1 year so that I can be developed to be the kind of a leader that God was calling me to. So I struggled with that. It took me 8 months to actually respond to that. 8 months, and in those 8 months I had no peace. Every other thing was just leading to that conversation.
I actually remember.
You remember, and it was so hard until a point where I think God now again impressed upon my heart to just trust Him. There's a time when I kept thinking, God, I don't want to do this because I don't want to quit my job. It was just a point of comfort. I don't want to quit my job. I don't want to start from scratch, whatever. I don't want to give up ABCD. Then He told me, don't you trust me? Don't you trust me? And I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. Again, maybe this will give me peace. Maybe I'll have peace. Because let me just do it. For me, it was like, let me just do it. Like, tick the box. It will give me peace.
That's why I'm calling you of ticking the box.
But it was the best decision of my life. It was the best decision of my life. Yeah.
That's really amazing. So after going through all that, is there any encouragement?
Sorry, best decision of my life after.
Wow.
You are the best
Choose
decision
God
of my
first.
life. You are the best decision of my life.
Oh.
You are my first ministry.
See.
Yeah.
But anyway, after going through all that, how would you encourage someone who's in a similar situation?
Yes, and let me turn now to the audience. I mean, as I said before, this whole conversation about faith is it's a journey, none of us is born and you're like, hey, by the way, I trust God fully, now I'm going to heaven. It's a journey. It's a series of events that will actually, there are things that will actually demand your attention from all sides. But this is it will reach a point where you're like, I need to focus on God. And God will be calling you and pursuing you and asking you, I need you to give me your heart. I need you to surrender. I need you to do A, B, C, D. And it's a journey. One milestone after the other, one hurdle after the other, one challenge after the other. But the consistency should be, my faith is growing. As a young Christian, I need to be building up my building blocks that will grow my faith to a point where I won't be struggling with the money that is on my M-Pesa. I'm now struggling with bigger things as far as my faith journey is concerned. So I want to encourage someone and tell them, you know what? Start from where you are. There is always something that God is asking you to do. It could be give up that Netflix. It could be give up that social media accounts that you keep going to. And I'm speaking to myself as well. It could be you're spending too much time online. To spend some time off and talk to me. It could be God is asking you, give up that relationship. It could be give up that job and trust me to provide for your next step. And there's a guy who is not very unfamiliar with our struggles, and his name is Peter in the Bible, Apostle Peter. And the call of Peter was very interesting. Jesus comes to him and tells him, you know what, I need to use your boat. And so Peter, at this point, he doesn't know Jesus at a very personal level. Jesus was just starting out his ministry. And so Peter allows him to use the boat. We all know, if you've read the Bible, you know Peter was a fisherman. So he uses the boat and then performs a miracle. Peter and his partners eventually catch a great catch of fish. And so Peter is so scared and he said, stay away from me, Lord, because I'm a sinful man. And I know someone out there could be in the same position where God is literally calling you for a particular course. And you're like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give up my account. I've just recently signed up for TikTok. And you're now telling me to quit social media. I've recently, gotten into this relationship. I've not even enjoyed 1 year of this relationship. And God is already telling me to quit it. I mean, it will cost you something. And you may be like Peter, you're like, stay away from me, Lord. Just give me some time weka pale, give me some time, I'll come back to you later. But eventually we know how the story of Peter panned out. Peter Pan. How the story of Peter panned out. We know that upon Apostle Peter, really, the church was founded. He was even called the Rock, but not Dwayne Johnson. He was
Wow.
the Rock, Peter the Rock, because upon Peter was the church founded. To date, several thousand years later, like 2,000 plus years later, we know church as we know it today because Peter actually took the step of faith and followed Jesus. He even died for the sake of the gospel. And by then, Peter was crucified upside down. He was like, I can't even match being crucified to the same way as the Lord Jesus. I want to die in a different manner. So from his fear to his faith being built up, to him being actually bold and doing crazy things out there. So I want to encourage you. Fear is part of the journey, but it's like saying, God, I have something little here. I'm going to give up all. Give me the boldness to actually give up this thing. Give me the boldness to trust you. Give me the boldness to rely on you and to have faith on you, even if it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it won't make sense, but give me the boldness. So that's my encouragement to you, and I hope you'll actually have the boldness that Peter had later on after following Jesus. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you, and I've really missed shaking people's hands. Yeah, so awesome.
Wow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. I hope to convince her to keep doing this. She's more of a background kind of a person, but she's doing an amazing job. On the comments below, just encourage this wonderful power woman. Come on, love.